You may not believe me when I tell you this, but this was actually not sped up. Hey Tim. If you're gonna drive like it's a race car, you have to get in like it's a race car. That's just common knowledge. Probably shouldn't have wore Timberlands to do this. Hey, who put that blinker there? Here, flip that back up. I honestly didn't know I was flexible enough to get my feet in the window. Alright, so let's get started. So first things first, I always start my car in neutral. So, clutch in, and turn the car on. Once the car is on, since I'm already in neutral, I can let off the clutch. But since I'm going to be leaving, I'm going to put my e-brake down, select reverse, give it a little bit of gas, and start releasing the clutch. This will get me on my way. Holding the clutch in at this point so I can coast backwards. Selected first. Give it a little bit of gas, don't need much, especially now that I'm on a downhill. At this point I'm not even using the gas, I'm just kind of coasting. To be legal, I put my phone down. And buckle up, because safety is first when it comes to driving a car. You might wonder, why do I need to know how to drive a stick? All cars nowadays are automatic. Well, that's not entirely true. And if you borrow a friend's car, if for some reason you need a car, and the only car you can find is a standard, let's hope you know how to drive it. So you're going to get started like normal, and then you're going to clutch in, second, and then you're going to continue that up through the gears. So I spin into second. Now this is why you want to drive a stick also, because it's such a rush when you start beating on it. It's not the same as just hammering the gas in an automatic. That car must have been thinking, man, these are some cool kids. You're not going to just want to use all brakes, because that could lead to you roasting the brakes, overheating them, etc., which is unnecessary wear. So you can downshift, as I'm doing here, as I'm now in third, and the RPMs are around 3,000 RPMs, or maybe 4, and it's the engine is actually holding the car back. Here's another little launch. Clutch kick. That was a really bad clutch kick. The only problem with driving a standard is that you get a heavy foot sometimes. So here I'm kind of showing where the friction zone is. So I'm turning on the car. Neutral. First. Get in there. First. Okay, so now that we're in first, if you let the clutch out just a little ways, mine actually catches near the floor. You'll feel and hear the car start to idle differently. As you can see, I'm idling kind of low, 800 RPMs, if the steering wheel gets out of the way. And you can see it fluctuate back to the 1,000. When it fluctuates, I'm pushing the clutch back in. So my clutch isn't half engaged. That's considered the friction zone, and you need to know this so that you can know when to give it gas, because if you don't, you could stall the car. Or ride the clutch if you do give it gas too early. That wouldn't be fun. Well, what about an uphill start? You see cars rolling back at stoplights, and you must think, wow, that must be kind of scary to be in a car like that. And it's not really, it just takes a little bit of practice. So, see, when I let off the brakes, it rolls back. So, first off, you're going to make sure you have it in first gear, because if you don't have it in first, you're going to stall it. Now you're going to do this kind of quickly, where you go to the friction zone, and then hit the gas and let the clutch out, and then shift as necessary as a normal drive. Now what about downshifting? Well, you can downshift like normal, or you can rev match. Right here, you can see I hit the gas as my clutch was in, which is actually synchronizing the transmission to the engine, so it's a nice smooth downshift, and I can just let the clutch back out. You don't have to do this, you could let the clutch out slowly, but it's not as fun. Letting it out slowly does help with the engine braking. Once you get good at shifting, you can shift really fast, And it's always something you can improve on. Even if you think that you're the best driver in the world, you can still improve on it. Every day is interesting. So that's the end of the speech. Now we're going to get to some of the clips that didn't quite make it. E-brake! Gotta love Baker.